problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
Set that Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan has responded to Anthony Joshua's intense new training routine for the rumored Jake Paul fight, and his reaction speaks volumes. After watching leaked footage of Joshua firing off explosive combinations and working closely with elite coaches, Rogan described the former heavyweight champion as terrifying. He warned that Jake Paul may have finally stepped into a challenge he can't talk his way out of. With Joshua appearing sharper, more focused, and meaner than he has in years, Rogan believes the matchup could end violently and quickly if Paul dares to enter the ring.
Need to get stronger.
The Jake Paul vs Anthony Joshua bout will be a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight fight under the Marquis of Queensberry rules. The contest is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds, with both fighters required to wear 10-ounce gloves. Importantly, Joshua must make a maximum weight of 245 pounds to keep the matchup competitive. A victory or defeat will be officially added to each man's professional record. This is
professional bout. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds, and people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Nisa Badarian, CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, and Jake Paul's lead promoter, told Sky Sports that the December 19th showdown with Anthony Joshua represents a massive global event. He emphasized that while Joshua holds the clear edge in experience, Paul's relentless self-belief could be the X-factor. Badarian framed the fight as a symbolic clash and explained that their team moved quickly, condensing negotiations into a surprisingly short time frame. He also confirmed strict weight limits and full professional rules to ensure a serious, high-stakes contest. Badarian argued that this fight is less of a mismatch than Joshua's bout with Francis Ngannou, noting that although Ngannou was physically huge, he lacked real boxing experience. In contrast, he believes Paul has developed rapidly and gained enough ring maturity to make this matchup more competitive.
The weight, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
Many boxing analysts say Jake Paul is taking an enormous risk by stepping in with Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Oakley has warned that Joshua's size and punching power make the fight a genuine health concern for Paul. Meanwhile, two-time world champion David Benavidez bluntly stated that Paul is walking into danger because of Joshua's vast experience at the sport's highest level.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad. But Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's going to be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
It's a good fight, man. I give Jake Paul 100% respect for even taking it. The Ring, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN. Carl Froch has criticized Joshua's decision to face Paul, suggesting AJ is essentially cashing out, and he isn't wrong to question it. Froch argues that Joshua, already financially set and with championship glory behind him, appears more interested in money than legacy at this stage. With his career secure,
what else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but I don't know what Daniel Dubois did to him. Then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through. Moses Atama, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake Paul.
Some boxing fans genuinely believe Jake Paul could beat Anthony Joshua, and they're betting everything on his power. Despite being dismissed as a YouTuber-turned-boxer, Paul has shown real punching strength, scoring knockdowns and knockouts against several opponents. Tyson Fury recently predicted that Paul could knock out Joshua, pointing to Paul's increasing size and heavyweight power. Paul himself insists Joshua's chin is weak, claiming that a clean, well-timed punch could end the fight early.
Do you think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
Many are labeling the matchup a classic David versus Goliath scenario. Jake Paul, who built his name through social media and lighter weight bouts, is stepping in against Anthony Joshua, a towering, championship-proven heavyweight with massive physical advantages. Joshua's size, strength, and pedigree make him the clear Goliath. Paul, the underdog, is relying on his drive, ambition, and self-belief to close the gap.
I can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
A growing concern surrounding Joshua's matchup with Jake Paul is that Joshua has fought only twice in the last 2 years. Following his split decision loss to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua's activity slowed. He stopped Robert Helenius in August 2023, beat Otto Wallin in December 2023, and then knocked out Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
The problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime, because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Haye has issued a severe warning about the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a clear mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, the former heavyweight champion said Joshua could inflict devastating damage on Paul and believes Paul's safety is genuinely at risk. Haye even suggested the fight could be Paul's last day on earth if he underestimates Joshua's power, size, and experience. The physical differences are striking. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is about 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua typically weighs between 240 and 250 pounds, though he's capped at 245 for this fight. Paul, who fought most of his career at cruiserweight, has only recently bulked up to around 227 pounds. This size and reach gap gives Joshua a significant advantage.
Is a big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet. Someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice. Although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois, he's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level, and he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Anthony Joshua is taking a major risk by agreeing to fight Jake Paul, and many experts say the danger goes beyond the physical. Former heavyweight Dave Allen warned that if Paul even lands one clean punch, it could tarnish Joshua's entire legacy. Others argue the decision is financially motivated. Eddie Hearn defended Joshua by saying, "You can't eat legacy." But critics worry that AJ may be trading long-term respect for a short-term payday, and that if things go wrong, he could be remembered more for this spectacle than for his championship greatness.
A lot of boxing fans will think this is a massive stain on his career and a bit of an embarrassment. Now, you two have done it. I'm sure you would both fight Jake Paul tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we're both retired. And we'll be looking at it saying, still an easy fight because he can't box, he's useless. So it's risk reward, minimum risk, massive reward. So of course we'd fight Jamie.
No, but you say that, it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds,
it's fixed.
Can you right, it's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round.
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired. I think that's the point George makes. He always does a little dig and says,
no, but
say
you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
to your career.
Definitely.
So,
nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's in hospital a week before.
It's not been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. I don't think it'd be hard at all. So he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now, for a start. So he's still.
How can he not know who you are?
Froch means business. How can he not know?
However, many boxing observers believe Anthony Joshua may be entering the strongest phase of his career. Despite setbacks, including 2 defeats to Alexander Usyk, Joshua has shown resilience and determination. Analysts have noticed a new aura around him recently. He appears calmer, more centered, and fully committed to reclaiming his dominance.
Got what it takes. But then sports is so psychological. Combat is so psychological. And I think the ups and downs of AJ's career have come because of the ups and downs of the psychology, you know? When AJ's on mentally, he's a different guy, man. I mean, I can remember early in his career just being this destroyer and just having this utter mean streak in there, and it would just come out of him when he would fight. You could just see it. He had that it factor, and he was so popular. I mean, and then I remember being at the Ruiz fight at the Garden, and he gets hit with like this grazing shot, never recovers, and he's gone. And this is after I watched him knock out Klitschko at Wembley, getting up off the canvas in front of a crazy crowd. So I'm like, I'm leaving the Garden then, and I'm like, what happened to this guy? What you know?
Anthony Joshua's decision to face Jake Paul is a high-stakes gamble both for his reputation and his physical well-being. While the fight guarantees a huge financial return, many insiders fear the move could damage his legacy if anything goes wrong. Critics argue that the fight risks turning his respected career into a circus attraction. At the same time, the bout might serve as the ideal payday for a veteran who has already taken on the sport's toughest challenges. But at this stage of his career, accepting a risky crossover matchup, one that could end in an upset or severe damage, is far from a safe bet.
A lot of people have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, I don't know, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Martin Bakole. I want to see him fight Kabayel. I want to see him fight Zhilei Zhang. I want to see him fight Hrgovic.